Good afternoon, beekeepers and bee enthusiasts. How you doing? It's another great day at the farm, and we're hanging out. It's another beautiful day outside. And if you remember in our last video where I was showing you how easy it is to add frames to a beehive for honey production, you know, started the video, went through the first colony, everything was fine. Got to the second colony, and the bees were very aggressive. Now, I started that video off by saying, hey, this is so easy, I'm not going to use a smoker. And boy, when I got in that second hive, I regretted it, because those bees came at me. I ended up getting stung about 6 times on my gloves through the latex. The bug baffler actually kept me safe, but yeah, I did get stung through my gloves quite a few times. And it was shocking because I've just never seen aggression like that in our bees. And it really surprised me, and so much so that at the end of that video, I basically said, hey, I'm probably going to end up culling this colony because I don't want aggressive traits in our apiary, and you know, I just don't want to have to deal with them. But since then, I've really thought about it, and you know, on the outside of the colony, the bees don't really bother us that much. Like, we have a chicken coop that's right beside the beehive. They don't really bother us. They kind of leave us be. And if you have Africanized bees, then if you get within 100 feet of that colony, those bees are going to chase you away. And these bees aren't like that. They just got super aggressive whenever I opened up the top. And of course, I didn't have smoke. Smoke is really important because bees will basically put a pheromone on you when they're marking you to basically say, hey, this is the danger. And if you don't have a way to mask that pheromone like this, then it could be a big issue. You know, you can get a lot of bees on you. And, you know, today I basically said, I'm going to go in, I'm going to adjust the frames a little bit because I didn't leave the hive in a perfect condition. So I went inside today, I had my smoker, I used some smoke, I basically went in, adjusted the frames, got them good to go, got the divider board in, got the straw in, closed up the hive. It really wasn't a problem. And so I've decided now that we're not really going to mess with those bees. We're going to kind of leave them be. October will be interesting because I'm going to have to go in and basically pull the honey frames out. But in any case, you know, we've decided we're going to keep the bees, and I have definitely learned a lesson. I'm pretty much always going to have a smoker on hand now because that was kind of crazy, and it did get out of hand, and it was kind of scary a little bit too. You know, over the past few years, I've maybe been stung 4 or 5 times, and in that last video, I got stung 6 times on my hands. I mean, my hands were pretty swollen. They look like giant grapefruits. But in any case, we've decided we're going to leave the bees be. You know, they're not really bothering us outside of the hive, you know, when we're getting into the chicken coop and whatnot. And as long as they're not bothering us, I don't really have a problem with them, and I'm just going to kind of leave them be so they can get some stuff done. So, you know, just want to let you know that there is another colony that I want to check out and I want to add some frames to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that colony. It's the Violet Cove colony. We're going to check them out, and if they need some frames, we're going to add some frames. It'll be a lot of fun, and without further ado, let's break right into it. Okay, so we're outside the Violet Cove hive, and this is a swarm we caught a few weeks ago. So what's different about this is when we go inside, we want to make sure the bees have filled out the comb on the last frame beside the divider board before we put a bunch of frames in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside, we're going to take a look. If they filled it out and they've got some honey storage on it, then we're going to go ahead and add our frames. But if they're still building that comb, there's not much to it, then we're probably just going to close up the hive and just leave it be, because you don't want to add too much space to your beehives for your bees, because they can get cold a lot easier that way. You want them to be kind of compact, so you don't want to add too many frames if they haven't built up the frames. So let's go inside right now, take a look, and see what we can see. I'm going to adjust the camera for a sec. Okay, you should be able to see that okay. Sure, I'm good to go. Okay, so we got a lot of bees out here. Can you see in there? Okay, yeah, you can see. Okay, so I'm just going to take out my straw for right now. Okay, so now I'm going to basically remove this divider board and let's see what the bees have done since they've moved in. Notice I'm kind of using my smoker this time. Okay, I'm just going to remove this. So as you can see, they're building on this comb right now. It's not totally filled out, but they're getting there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add about 3 frames to this colony. I don't want to add 7 frames because it's just a little bit too much space for them, and they might be a little weak right now. I know their activity on the outside was a little low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these frames. And then we'll be good to go. I'm just going to add 3 for now. If they're still kind of building on the comb, then adding 3 frames is pretty safe. Again, you just don't want to give them too much space if they can't deal with it. Add the divider board back. Now we're going to take our straw. We're going to put our straw in. Now, you don't want empty space. If there's empty space, you want to fill it with straw. Easy as that. Cool. Okay, so it was super easy going into that colony. Again, you don't want to add too many frames if they haven't built up the frames that are already inside the hive. You don't want to give them too much space. You know, really, if you want to play it safe, just give them a little bit at a time. Give them like 3 frames at a time, and they should be just fine. So, you know, what I'll do is I'll kind of let them sit, and then maybe in a month I will go back and I will check on those frames. And if they've built comb on the new frames that I've put in there, then I'll go ahead and fill out the rest of the colony with frames. They'll be good to go. I'm sure the honey will be delicious. And yeah, hey, lesson of the day, make sure you got your smoker on hand, because if you don't and you get into a hot hive, it can be a big mess of a problem. You know, I've definitely learned my lesson, and you know, take what you can get from this video and definitely have a smoker on hand when you handle your bees. And yeah, that about wraps up our video. You know, again, honey production is great. Adding frames to beehives is super easy, and it's just really not too much of a problem as long as you've got the right tools handy. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, we'll see you soon.